So I'm going to be sharing 10 points about what no one tells you when it comes to having a boy, or at least what people aren't really talking about that you really should know. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. A little bit about me and my background and why I felt like this video was very important. I actually grew up with no brothers. I grew up with 5 sisters. You can meet them all in this video up here. So that being said, I feel like my knowledge about baby boys was very minuscule. A lot of the things on this list, I legitimately had no knowledge of and didn't even expect it once I had my son Jace, who is now 16 months old. There are just certain things that come with having a baby boy that you have to deal with that you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with a baby girl. Before I get started, remember, if you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always notified when I put out a new video. Please give this video a thumbs up. That seriously goes a long way and helps my channel so much. Also, disclaimer, I think there's certain words I'm gonna try to not say verbally in this video for the risk of getting demonetized. I just want to avoid that at all costs, so I may be putting some words on the screen. Okay, so number 1, I am just gonna jump right into the juicy stuff. Baby boys have inflamed privates when they're born. Right after delivery, a lot of moms are surprised to see babies with very enlarged this. I remember that moment distinctly when Jace came out, and we have a photo of him being held up by like the scale that shows his weight. And even in the picture, I'm like, what the heck? How? Before your partner tries to take any credit for that, just know that it's temporary, it goes away. After about 10 days or so, it settles to the regular size. I love just talking about this, makes me so comfortable, as you can tell. It's a normal condition that is just basically because of the extra fluids in his body. I have never heard of this before, so I didn't expect it, that's for sure, but also like he was pretty much swollen all over, so even his face, his lips were huge. But yeah, totally normal, it's fine, and your baby will go back to normal in a few days. Number 2 is that diaper changes can be very messy, and I've heard people say that it's more difficult to change a baby girl's diaper because of all the folds and things. But let me tell you, with boys, it's also challenging because they have these, I don't know how else to explain it other than a walnut situation. You know, there's tiny little crevices that when they go number 2, it is very hard. I'm like paranoid that Richie's hearing me right now, and this is probably the weirdest video I've done yet. Yeah, basically the crevices are so itty bitty. A sticky poop is so hard to clean that area out.
Oh my gosh.
Midwasa, Fortero.
Forte, it's very messy.
Midwasa. So I wasn't prepared for that because I've always heard that girls' diapers are more difficult to change than boys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So speaking of diaper changes, expect to be peed on. There's just no other way to say it. I have heard that before. I did not think that I would be a victim to it so quickly. Our first day back home from the hospital, I had to change Jace's diaper, and like Richie was busy, I was gonna do it all on my own, and I was really excited, and I was like, I got this, and I was excited to use like our new Kikaroo. I went and put him down and opened the diaper, and then basically it just flew everywhere. Peed all over me, all over the wall. There were streaks going down the wall of pee. And I like screamed, like I let out a shrill, and so then Zuko ran over, and then my mother-in-law ran over, and it was just this like chaotic situation. It's so dramatic. Yeah, I just did not expect it to be that soon, that fast. Like I thought my reflexes would be fine and I can catch it if he peed, but it's a lot harder than it seems. What I started to do to make sure that I don't get peed on anymore is put the fresh diaper underneath before I even take the dirty diaper out so that it's already there and ready. And then also just take your finger and point that little thing down so that once the fresh diaper is like ready to go on, if he does pee, it goes straight into. It does take a few times to like get a hang of this process. Just think of it as your initiation into boy momhood. Number 4 is research circumcisions ahead of time. this is like one of the things that you just kind of forget, especially if you've never had a brother, like I said, or never had a son before, you kind of forget about the circumcision decision that you're gonna have to make. For some religions or cultures, it's already pretty clear cut what you're going to do because of traditions. But for others, you might have no idea what to do because you've never had to think about that before. So I would just encourage you to do your research, and just a few facts for you. Circumcisions are not medically necessary, but 58% of boys in the US are being circumcised. So that's just a little bit over half. So you have people going either way with this. It's completely up to you and your partner and your family what you think is the best decision for your kiddo. But just reminding any first-time boy moms out there that it's something you might want to do a little bit of research ahead of time. Number 5 is that boys love bathroom humor. Growing up in a family of girls and being taught and raised to be very proper and not fart and just have no humor around that topic of bathroom stuff, I did not realize how much boys love farting, talking about poops and weird things. I think my first real taste of that life was marrying Richie. So Jace is super young now, so it really isn't that bad at the moment, but I am mentally prepared to deal with some humor that I just don't think is funny. I mean, is farting really that funny, or is it just annoying? I don't know. What do you guys think about bathroom humor? Just a quick interruption before we get to the next point. Are you enjoying this video so far? Have you learned anything new? If so, head over to that thumbs up right now before you forget, and please press it for me. I truly mean it when I say that it helps my channel out so much, so I just want to give you a big old fat kiss. Number 6 is that boys can actually pick up language skills later than girls. I did not know this. I think it's a good little piece of information to remember when your kiddo gets around 1.5, 2 years old, because oh my gosh, parents freak out about this, and I get it. Like, it is a kind of nerve-wracking thing. You don't want your kid to be behind or have any issues with anything. And so this is actually a point that my pediatrician like drove so hard at the last appointment that Jace had. She was like, okay, so he's 16 months now, and between now and 18 months, you know, typically kids know about 10 words or so, but if he doesn't, it's fine. And every kid kind of develops that at a different rate. And so according to a study done by Northwestern University, the girls seem to pick up language skills without a problem, speaking sooner, having larger preschool vocabularies, and using more complex sentence structure than the boys. And so try to not stress too much. This is a normal developmental difference. And typically boys will catch up within the elementary school years, according to research. So just a good thing to keep in mind that I had no clue about. Number 7 is they actually empathize less than girls, and this is another thing that research has found through the years. Boys consistently show less of an ability to empathize and recognize emotions the way that girls do. So the difference starts at a young age and only widens as the babies grow up. But the good news is that we can model empathy to our boys and teach them how to be more in tune with others' emotions. This is something that definitely takes more effort and more time. All right, number 8 is an interesting one. Boys will grab their privates, you know, when you're changing their diaper, or maybe not. Maybe they're just walking around and stick their hands down their pants. This can happen as early as 4 to 6 months as you are changing diapers usually, and they're kind of just putting their hand around, discovering their body, figuring out what's going on, and especially because it's dangling there, you know, babies grab anything that dangles. This is normal, so don't think it's weird or freak out about it. But I should say that if it's happening a lot and there's pain associated with it, then you might want to talk to a doctor about it, because it could potentially be a UTI, so keep that that in mind. But for the most part, it's usually just normal as they're discovering their different body parts. I was reading that you shouldn't forbid or scold or shame your child for it. Those negative reactions might just tempt them to want to continue doing it even more. It also is sending a message that they should feel ashamed about their body, which is not really a message we want to send. Another great thing to do, especially if this is happening in public scenarios, is to just redirect their attention, right? It's better to, take their hands out and just redirect them to a different toy or a different location so they kind of forget about it and move on. And once they're discovering it, I think that's a good time to start teaching your kiddos about public parts and private parts. And I'm gonna be addressing more on that in an entirely different video, so stay tuned for that. Number 9 is that boys have more energy. I think this is something that, most people do know, like we always say that. And again, that's not to be extreme and say that boys always have more energy than girls. There are some girls out there who have a lot of energy, but I think just like really mentally preparing yourself for this one, because again, I don't think I was as prepared. I didn't have any brothers. We were like pretty rambunctious gals, but we weren't cuckoo bird. And Jace is cuckoo bird. In fact, according to government report, boys account for more ER visits than girls do. So boys just tend to be more like prone to injury and seeking thrill and danger. And I see that every freaking day with my son. He's jumping all over the couch. I mean, this kid has endless amounts of energy. And I actually received a lot of messages talking about the difference between people's girls and boys, and that the boys are the ones that are way more energetic and way more prone to danger than the girls. In fact, the most common reason that toddler boys see a doctor is injuries and poisonings. So clearly, like, they're getting into everything and jumping off of everything. Number 10, another private part one. So many of these were private parts one, but erections are totally normal in newborns. Who would have thought? In fact, they even have them in the womb. So wow. Also, if you are changing their diaper and see that, be careful, because that might be a sign that their bladder is full, so potentially some pee is also on the way. In newborns, there's also a surge of testosterone that might be causing some of that in the first few months of life. So yeah, this was definitely an interesting one that I didn't know about until my sister told me about it. And so just good to know and keep that in mind for when you have your son and you are like, what's going on? Okay, friends, those are my 10 things that I really think everyone should know before having a baby boy. I wish I knew many of these things before wonderful little Jace came into my life. But that's okay, I know now, and so I'm here to help a sister out. So leave a comment below, let me know if any of those things were new to you, or if you have additional things that we should be adding onto this list. Again, if you like my content, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, follow me over on Instagram at NicoleLaGreen to see my daily life. Love you guys, appreciate you so much, and I will see you in the next video.